So you want to learn how to live and work legally in the United States? Join us this Tuesday to go over all your questions and different visa categories.
On the line, green cards, visas, you don't have to fly blind. The law's complicated, your future shouldn't be. Straight answers, no scripts, living free. Beltran, Brito, we go live, we go real. Your immigration questions, we get it right. Beltran, Brito, hey, hey, Tuesday live in English, let's go.
Guys, welcome to the English show. My name is Stephanie here at Beltran Brito, accompanied by my socio, Alexis. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
We're doing quite well. I believe this is episode 41 or 42, which is quite exciting. I can't believe we've actually made on the English show like this.
What is so exciting is that we now have a very specific intro for the English show. Is that a client? I don't know. I got to find out more about that. That was amazing.
It was pretty nice.
Good intro.
All right. So for those who don't know, because we are only in our 40s in the English show, this is the English show to our, complimentary to our Spanish show where we answer all of your immigration questions live and for free. So any immigration questions that you have, please feel free to answer or ask them in the comments, wherever it is. You guys will know better than me how the comments work. But go ahead and ask your questions. We'll be answering them live. Before we do that, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about news in particular. So let's just I'm going to go a quick recap of the news that we've seen up to now, and then we'll talk about the news from this week. So you can look at earlier programs, which are all available on our YouTube for things about change on the public charge rule, which is going to start implementing September 18th. Changes about the F1 visa, whose changes are going to be implemented on September 15th. There is changes with, there's one I'm missing.
Well, no, there was a positive change, right? Where the 39 country ban was kind of lifted.
Correct.
Right.
That was previous.
That was August.
Like the more recent ones.
Or July, sorry.
It was public charge F1. Oh, the frivolous filings. The frivolous filings.
That's a funny one,
which
though.
they kind of changed, kind of didn't, which is basically that they'll reject cases that are not complete. We talked about that last week. And then today we're going to talk about how they are going to potentially require online filing. So let's go with that one.
So, I mean, I know it's going into the comment period, right? So I think it's October 13th. Okay. October 13th. Is that a Friday? Ooh, I don't know. I'd like to know. Friday the 13th.
Tú también me haces unas preguntas.
This is the English show. So on October 13th, they're going to run the comment section and then it'll officially publish. Now, there is an interim rule. And if I understand correctly, some forms you can already file. That everyone knows. Some forms probably for about maybe almost 12 months. Very few. Anything over 180 days, basically, you can file electronically. And they're suggesting it as almost a requirement at this point. And so we have to be very mindful. What are those forms? And kind of gauging a list of that, right? So this just came out a day ago, so we're working on it. But be mindful, as anyone who's applying, we're doing this with our clients. If you're doing this by yourself or working with a different firm, shame on you, come work with us. But if that's what you've decided, and rightfully so, that's what you want to do, feel confident, but make sure to review how you can submit it. And so USCIS website is generally a very good tool. There's even a whole section that says where to file. But this is brand new, right? So you want to be very cautious. I'd say triple check to make sure, are you required to file online?
So basically what they're saying is they may require in the future anything that has already been available for e-filing for 180 days online. They might start requiring obligatorily for you to file online. So, okay, so at the beginning of this year, 2026, they had already said, for instance, EB1 petitions, I-140 petitions could be filed online. But for a lot of us, we were like, that's silly because they have a megabyte, a capacity, a maximum capacity for these filings, right? If you guys don't know, an EB1 filing could be 400 or 500 pages. And when they had, how do you upload that if they have megabyte capacities and all these issues, right? So I know very few attorneys who are filing I-140 EB1s online. But what they are saying, and the majority of what I've seen so far, is that the forms that they're going to start requiring for e-filing are those that don't require as much evidence. For instance, N400s, I'm pretty confident that's going to be one of the ones they're going to require online. That's the one for citizenship. Adjustment of status, we're preparing already for those. So I-485, because that's mostly forms, not so much evidence, right? Birth, marriage certificates is very light. Then we also have H-1B filings, I-129, H-1B filings. That was identified on the Federal Register as one because the lottery is already an online process. They're saying that any petitioner filing I-129 for an H-1B employee must have first electronically registered. That's why it would be a good idea for them to already start filing the actual I-129 petitions online. So we're expecting for that one as well, right? So there's going to be several. This is going to come in the coming weeks. But what that means for you is that you really have to be paying attention to make sure you know how to file and how they're going to be accepting the filings. And honestly, for us as attorneys who we love to do everything in paper for many reasons, it's going to be a severe, severe change for us as well.
Yeah, I think it just highlights a different way of doing things. The USCIS alone accounts that this is like a 10-year process.
Yeah.
So they're going to gradually move to this. And I think as not only consumers become more confident with like shrinking the size of a PDF in order to fit and upload, but also not overwhelming the servers. Because now instead of saving this in a filing cabinet, it's going to go in a cloud somewhere, in a data center somewhere. And so there's a cost to that. So I think the government recognizes that. We have digital copies of everything. So we recognize it ourselves. I like it. In general, I like it. I just hope the USCIS website will be user-friendly. From a user standpoint, it is a little complicated to get things done. Not so much as an individual, but when you're doing it as a representative, as through an attorney. They add a few extra steps that sometimes don't allow us to engage properly. So I think they're working out those kinks. That's why they recognize it. Let's start with the simple, then move on to the 10 years. I hope it moves fast. How wonderful would that be? Everything's online.
I mean, I too am concerned with, especially when the Trump administration has removed basically a lot of the USCIS staff. How are they going to make these websites user-friendly, right? So I am a little concerned there. I'm not going to lie to you guys. But we have to kind of adjust with the times, and we have to get to it, and we will. And if that's what we're doing towards, basically, this is going to go to a national security issue. They want the information already digital. Before, up to now, they were inputting the information themselves, right? They were taking the petitioner, writing it down, the beneficiary writing it down and putting it into their system. What they're basically doing with online filing is that all of the system will already be digitized so they can more quickly locate connections between companies, previous petitions, etc. So that's really the reasoning, and I absolutely understand the reasoning. I'm hoping that they make it user-friendly, but we will wait and see. But that is one of the dramatic changes this week.
I have a question for you.
Always every week.
Wait.
There's always something. They never let us have a weekend off, ever. Ever.
Is the show in its 40s, or are you in your 40s?
Ah, fanculo.
What's going on here? Gotta adjust with the times.
40s. I'm not in my 40s.
But that's good news. And I mean, it's a little early. Hopefully next week, but I think it might be around the 20th to 25th. We'll get the visa bulletin. We are coming to the end of the fiscal year. And so it'll be big news. So let's see what September and October have for us.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Ooh.
The reduction in the frivolous filings, we talked about the Spanish show because it was released on Wednesday.
Oh, then
So
maybe we didn't do it
the
on
English show.
Tuesday. Okay.
So let's talk about really quickly the other change that happened last week on Wednesday. They basically, USCIS came out with a statement that they want to reduce frivolous filings. And what does that mean? They're no longer going to accept cases unless they're fully packeted and documented. So for instance, easy example is, I think earlier this year, right? They started requiring the medical exam with the I-485 with the adjustment of status. For instance, sometimes in order to meet a priority date, we would send the I-485 application and we would send the medical exam later. That was something we used to do a lot. I think it was this year. This year, they started saying we're no longer accepting the AOS, the adjustment of status application, without the medical exam. So basically what they're doing is kind of the same thing. they didn't say specifically what it is, right? They didn't say specifically what it is that's mandatory, that's required with every petition. But it's generally, the idea is, what they did allude to is, if it's on the checklist, it better be in the case. Otherwise, we can automatically reject your case.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? As an office, we're responding by saying, okay, we need to potentially, there's a lot of extra steps that we might need to take in order to submit all this proper documentation.
Absolutely.
I think most importantly for you guys, you need to be hiring your immigration attorney sooner in the playbook. Before I could get an O1 done in 30 days. I could do that. Like, I don't like it, but I could do it if you really need me to. Now I might not even be able to, because I might not get the things in time, the advisory opinions and stuff like that in time for the petition. And I risk USCIS not accepting my petition.
It just goes to show that as attorneys, sometimes clients ask a lot from us, and that's okay. Like, we're here to give you and provide a service. But when we ask something for you, it's for a reason. So if I say, for example, in O1, I need that petitioner, guess what? Give me that petitioner so I could prepare everything else. Right. If not, we can't request that advisory opinion letter, for example. And so it's going to be new for everyone. But I think we've already been operating like that because we like to move. We want to get things done. I like to submit a
significant change, is the truth.
Yeah, we submit complete packages. Yeah. Yes, we have the oddballs that we adjust to for various reasons, but you got to submit a complete package.
I think, honestly, the big one was the medical exam when we already adjusted to that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it's not a huge change, but it is. Absolutely. Keep in mind that they now can reject from the onset if something is missing from your petition. So those of you that are
RFE
self-filing, maybe those of you that are self-filing, for instance, another easy example, N400, for those of you that are doing it yourselves, requires front and back of the green card. So if you only submit a copy of the front, before they would just RFE you for a photocopy of the back. Now they may not even accept your case. They might spit it back and say, send it when it's complete, which is the copy of front and back of the green card. So things like that, things to keep in mind.
Yeah.
You see how they always ruin my weekend. And remember how I was like, oh no, there's not much news in the summer. USCIS usually takes a break. No.
This summer's been fun.
This summer has not been very fun, and it should be. Anyway, but so that's where we are now. Let's go ahead and I think go with the questions.
Let's do it.
You're not familiar with the sounds today.
They moved around.
No. All right, I already started some for you. Go ahead.
Ladies always first.
Okay, that yeah. Let's see. Study it first. With an approved I-140 EB-20W, can a person submit the I-45 while he is in the OPT? Yes. Or does he have to finish the OPT? No, before requiring adjustment status. You can file it as any time that you have a valid non-immigrant status. If you're filing it while you have OPT, make sure that you either are employed or have been unemployed for less than 90 days.
There you go. Here we go. Guillermo Villamizar. If an I-140 via PERM is already approved before the asylum preliminary audience or interview with my attorney, does the judge have the power to grant permission for an adjustment of status? There are exceptions where the judge may take into consideration, hey, you have an I-140, you have an underlying basis for adjustment, and there are other maybe humanitarian concerns that will allow you to do it with the EOIR via the immigration judge, the IJ. It's very discretionary. I think there are several factors. Each city might operate differently. Individual judges within those cities will operate differently. They take into account the current and trending policies. So is it possible? Yes. Have I heard of it? Yes. Is it likely? Probably not. So I think that's always something that you want to discuss with your attorney, the one taking the asylum, the one working the case. They're going to be familiar with those local judges and get a feel of what's truly possible. What do people normally do? They process consular. What do you have to consider? What effect does it have regarding my ability to return? 3 and 10-year bar. It's a huge component. Is there a waiver that justifies that 3 and 10-year bar? Remember, some of these waivers are beneficial when a USC, United States citizen or legal permanent resident, are affected, not one as the foreign national. So there's that component. So some of these waivers are very much available to individuals and family-based petitions, but not always employment-based petitions. So it is case by case. I think it's something that you strategize from the get-go. So to answer your question in short, is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? I'd say today, no.
What are these sounds that you're making?
It's just part, I'm a voiceover actor. I'm a voice actor in my spare time.
Has anyone told Alexis he looks like comedian Nick Bargatze?
Nick?
Hilarious.
That's wild. That's
hilarious.
amazing. That's a compliment. I guess
Okay.
funny.
Morena Gonzalez. Hey, do you guys have any tips on building a strong EB1 resume for a dancer? Do I have to elaborate on every job I did, or date, location is enough? Do I have to add awards, media, or you took it off the screen, dude? Help, please.
Oh.
Also, if I have the same evidence to cover 2 criteria, should I add it twice or just send them to the same folder? Okay. So EB1 dancer, I like to hit display. So basically, I want you to include things like, you could go now. I want you to hit things like maybe photographs of you on stage, maybe the badge of you participating in the concert. When I have the badge, right? Let's say you were a dancer at Bad Bunny. I don't want it to say Bad Bunny crew. Ideally, I want to say Bad Bunny dancer, right? If possible, not just staff. So the badges, the photos, the contracts, the proofs of payment. I want to show everything in order to display that you are in fact one of the dancers. So that's number one. For dancers, I also like to try and get judging. So try and see if you could participate as a judge in a dancing or a talent or arts competition. Number 3, if possible, press, maybe 1 or 2 interviews with you, which is basically like, how did you get into this? What's your career like? What has it been performing as a dancer for some of the biggest stars? If you are a dancer in music videos, I want your name possibly in the credits of the music video or in the YouTube description identified by name as one of the dancers. That would be fantastic. Or if you're a dancer in a short film production, something like that, that you come out in the credits. For awards are beautiful. Obviously, not everyone is going to have the opportunity for awards, but awards would be fantastic. Maybe it's worth enrolling in individual dance competitions just to see if you get an award, because that could be very useful. I've done a lot of like ballroom dancing. So for the couple, though, you will usually get awards, which is fantastic. Not myself.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, I want to see that.
A lot of clients have done ballroom dancing. So I like try and focus on awards if you have it. That you won't always have. Try and focus on judging, try and focus on display, try and focus on sort of these lead roles to show that you were like the principal dancer within the troupe or within the program, the production, credits, things of that nature. If you're going to use the same evidence to cover 2 categories, you can add it twice. You can just say to refer. It depends how you want to structure it. You can do it in many ways.
You know what's great though? I am sure she's had the opportunities. Maybe she said no in the past. It's about saying yes.
Correct.
When you're doing an EB1, in O1 as well, to a certain extent, it's about becoming a no person to a yes person. Yes, I'll take on that role.
Yep.
Yes, I will go to that, award ceremony. Yes, I'll serve as a judge.
Mhm.
Yes, I will be involved. It's a commitment of time. That's what makes you extraordinary. You're able to spread yourself thin enough successfully. That's what you got to do.
Yep.
I'm gonna take on. I guess there's this one here. Let's go with Erica.
Let me take this one. I'm sorry.
Vallejo. Yeah, you want to
Yeah,
take it?
sorry.
I'll-
I'll take it.
all right, go ahead.
I know Erica.
Oh, you know. Erica. Sorry.
F1 with pending EB3 AOS. My husband has EAD-AP for my F1 extension in October. Should I include my husband and daughters F2s or only myself? So Erica, yes, because of the AOS memo, there was this communication, this talk of like whether or not you should continue using your F1 and F2 and maintaining a non-immigrant status. If you want to be extra conservative, you can certainly do so. Get the I-20 for both the F1 and the F2s. Do not get the I-20 only for you, because if not, there's no point into what you're doing of maintaining the non-immigrant status. But because you have pending AOS and I-140 approved, really the necessity, in your case, I do want you to continue, get the I-20 for the F1 and F2.
And the EAD-AP, don't use it.
I'm not going to mention it here.
Shouldn't use it. But we'll talk later. I love it. Belu Riverol. So kind of extending on the same idea to a certain extent. Okay, so many ICE detentions going on. I'm under an O1 expiring in October, but about to apply for an EB1 through the consulate. So I'll be in the middle of a process. I'm traveling interstate soon. Should I be scared? Belu, you shouldn't. As long as you have that valid O1, you have immigration status, Travel with confidence. Now you're filing an I-140 for an EB-1A, consular processing. Guess what? When your O-1 expires, you got to leave the country. Can't stay in the United States. That'll become a process, not for the I-140. When you go to file for the legal permanent residency, for the green card, I-45 in the U.S. or consular processing. Just be mindful, Bello, there are some countries where consular processing is still on hold. There's a nice list there. So you might want to consider maybe extending the O1 to do an adjustment of status here. Not too sure what your situation is, but just something for you to consider. Oh, there's is this a follow-up? There, thank you. And do you guys know what's the reason for so many detentions in airports mostly? What's going on?
Trump.
Well, there obviously it's the executive branch that's making all of the detentions and the arrests. Legal presence and legal status is what's up. So when you have a pending I-45, you have what is known as legal presence. What does that mean? That the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security has authorized you to remain in the United States legally while that I-45 petition is pending. Using that as an example. There are other examples like an I-129 as well. What does that mean? You're okay. You're legal. You don't have to worry about it. What ICE is saying is that's not a legal status, and we can detain you for a legal status, and that is a violation of the law.
Well, but hold on. Because once they determine that they do have lawful presence, such as an AOS pending, they are releasing them.
Correct.
It's just frustrating because you're going to have to go into detention for them to verify it.
It's almost like they're policing, right? They're going to give you that speeding ticket. Oh, you want to verify my speeding, my gun works or my tactics? Go do that with a judge. It's beyond annoying. And I say beyond annoying because you're not just getting a ticket. You're being detained.
It's also not necessary, but
it's completely unnecessary. The law allows those people to remain here.
Correct. So, I'm not saying like you're gonna have a long-term issue, right? So if you have an AOS pending, that's why I've been like delicate on whether or not I'm telling people to do the domestic travel, because it's like yes,
I understand.
Unfortunately, it is extremely easy for us to sit where we are and say yes, do your domestic travel. You have an AOS pending, you're fine, but I understand, which is the unfortunate part of what this administration is doing currently. They're basically, instead of verifying in the moment, they're putting you in detention while they verify that you have a lawful presence, which is the frustrating part. Yeah. And so, right now is really not the time to be doing not even domestic, which is so, I hate that I even have to give that advice. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, if you do take domestic travel and you have a pending AOS, you have a pending asylum, technically you should be free and you will ultimately be released from detention, but that's a night in detention, which is not something that's fun.
I mean, a night, 2 nights, 3 nights. You missed out on your flight. You didn't get to the conference you had to go to, or if it was part of your work. Mm-hmm. It is more than an inconvenience. Mm-hmm. That's why I say a speeding ticket, I get it. That's an inconvenience. This is life-changing for some people. By the way, at some I-45 interviews, they are going to ask you, why are you filing and why aren't you maintaining status? There's a way to explain it. Hey, the law allows me to do it, right? And there are many reasons why you can do it. I've been in the United States. I had a student visa. I've had an O1 visa. Now I'm adjusting status, and it's okay. It's valid. It'll be approved. We're getting them approved. The ICE officers are not there to make that determination. They're just there to enforce the law without interpreting it. And that's the unfortunate part, Belu. So we hope that changes soon. It is strictly a matter of policy. There's nothing you can argue to get out of it, though.
Erica does this follow-up, which is what I was going towards. If my husband is already using his EAD and AP through his pending AOS, does that conflict with F2 status? So look, in my opinion, yes. If you utilize an EAD connected to your AOS, and then you are violating the terms of your F2 non-immigrant status, 100%. In me, I think it's 100% clear. I think there's no point. However, in certain situations, it may be worth still maintaining a valid I-20 for F2 purposes, particularly if there have been previous blips in immigration history.
Exactly.
So do I recommend not working? Absolutely.
I mean, it's all case by case, so definitely,
I do recommend not working to not violate the F2 status. I do certainly recommend if you could avoid work.
Absolutely. Let's get here with Lewis. And Lewis asks, hello, Troppy lawyers. Right now, it's very hard to get approved the I-140 based on an EB-2 NIW visa Or how hard is it to get the I-140? Why does it take more than 24 months to get answers about it?
Trump.
Well, yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, going as far back as November 2022, it started to take longer, right? It went from 6 months to 12 months to 18 months, 24 months, 30 months. One component is a lot of people filed EB2 and AW that probably shouldn't have filed EB2 and AW. How many people have I spoken to said, it's okay, we can make the argument, but here are other options to consider, more serious options. And you have people that, no, they just decided to file. So I think you had, I won't call them frivolous filings, but hopeful filings. And that really slowed it down, processing for everyone else. And on top of that, well, made these USCIS officers, many of which are new, maybe 12 months ago came in, have no idea how to analyze EB2 and IW, are looking at it from the lens that, possibly not considering the correct standard of an EB2 and IW, and are using all the discretion in the world to make determinations where you could present two cases exactly alike and one's approved and one's denied. It is horrible. And I agree with you. And I think that's going to change. I think fewer people are applying. Officers are learning more. Guess what? Sometimes we do appeal. We win the appeal and it goes back. I have a case denied twice, appeal won twice. It's going back. By the way, separate I-140 filed for that person, approved. All EB2 and IW. So it just shows how inconsistent the system is right now. And it is absolutely frustrating. So I think it's always very important to manage expectations. And on top of that, really plan out the immigration experience. Before, sometimes it was worth just going straight to an EB2 and AW. AOS, going to be approved. I know you have a great case. Guess what? Now it's important. O1, L1, H1B, E2. What are non-immigrant options to get my family here, get settled down, and not be on a B1, B2, and then an F1, F2 for 2, 4, 6 years? It's not a way to live.
100%. Mon Carrera, how can I get residencia, permanent residency in 2027 and the price? All right, so first,
this is a loaded question.
In order to get permanent residency in the United States, you have to call us. So first, you're going to be right to beltranbrito.com/contacto. It's going to be somewhere around here on the screen. And you'll go ahead and write to us so you can go ahead and schedule an appointment with us in order to evaluate your profile. There are several options for permanent residency. And to Alexis's point, you also may want to consider non-immigrant visas in the meantime. Any permanent residency application, including EB1 with premium, I want you to plan for at least roughly a year. It could be slightly less, but roughly give it at least a year. So if you want and your goal is permanent residency in the United States for 2027, you need to get started in 2026. That's the truth, right? Permanent residency does take time. That's why we explore oftentimes short-term options such as non-immigrant visas, which would allow you to essentially be able to apply for something sooner and be able to already be in the United States while you wait for permanent residency. But yeah, I can't speak to price or anything because every permanent residency is different. There's EB1, there's EB2, there's EB3, there's PERM, there's EB5, there's marriage-based, there's a million types of permanent residency. Upload and right here, go ahead and send us your CV and your resume so we could take a look and we could evaluate the options that are specific to you.
And don't come at me with, hey, my cousin got this in 2022. That was 4 or 5 years ago. So
yeah,
just be mindful.
Very different
process. And I'm not talking about pricing, but rather processing times and expectations have changed. Yeah. Visas that were tough then might be easy today.
And to be honest, pricing has changed also because now public charge is coming September 18th. Yes. And we now have to start including a public charge, basically review in cases. Adjustment of status applications have gotten more difficult. Everything has gotten more difficult. So everything has changed, honestly.
It's very nuanced.
We're still winning. I don't want you to be scared. We're still winning, but it's nuanced and it's far more difficult than it ever has been. So it's going to take a little bit more time and more effort, and especially more time. Honestly, time is the big factor that you need to, if 2027 is your goal, you need to start already talking now.
Right now. Luis Gerardo Primero Oyarvis, 5790. My wife will be leaving on September 20th. She entered with parole. She's in a small group with TPS and EAD until October 2nd. 03 counselor is a good decision. I'm on an 01. Okay, this is a loaded, I mean, I don't have the entire fact pattern, but if she entered with parole and during that time retained parole and went to TPS and had status and was one of the very few lucky people who still have TPS Venezuela because they got the infamous receipt notice or work permit prior to, I forgot the date. I think it was October also, but whatever that date might be, then yes, she's always retained and or maintained legal presence in the United States. And she entered with parole, that's not legal status, but she's always had legal presence. She's not subject to the 3 and 10-year bar, and it would be a safe and actually reassuring thing to do. Have her leave, get the O3, and come back in. I've done it with other clients. Everything's been successful. But you have to make sure you don't have a single day on there. If you do, you got to find out what are the legal consequences to that. Really, more than 6 months is where you're concerned, or 1 year. But even if there's 1 day, have a consultation, make sure you know what you're getting into. But the strategy is right. You're in an O1, you're in a safe place. Let's get your wife there too. I love it.
King, hey King. Based on your experience, would you not recommend doing EB1 with premium processing, or does not matter either way? Honestly, listen, EB1, I'm having sort of the same results, whether it be premium or not premium. It depends. Every attorney is going to have different experiences. So Gil has different experiences than I do, than Alexis does. For me, my EB1s have been generally treated the same. For the majority of countries, whether it's premium or not premium, I think that's going to be more so to a discussion on whether or not you need to extend the O1 and how long you want to wait. So I think that's more of a discussion that you need to have on whether you're willing to extend the O1, or if your O1 is sufficiently in the future but less than 15 months, maybe you want to consider premium.
By the way, EB1's the same as EB2 and IW.
Yeah, did you see it jumped?
Yeah, 30 months is insane.
Unbelievable.
I mean, in practice, it was really taking a year, but it is what it is. We got to adapt, friends. Larry, Leon, hi, Tropi Abogados. What would be the best path for F1 graduating PhD STEM May 2027? That's a great one, because what do you do after a PhD?
OPT STEM. Get a sponsor, H1B perm,
but
or
I
do EB2
think they finish with
EB1.
STEM May 2027.
Graduating PhD.
With STEM through May 2027. I'm going to assume, let's go with it. No matter what I tell you here, it's going to apply regardless of the date, but let's go with the radical date, May 2027.
Like OPT STEM is finished May 2027?
Yep. You're going to have a 30-day grace period, because that's down from 60 days. So let's say June 2027. What do you do? Friend, you need to start planning now. Do you qualify for an EB1A? And you get that done. That's I-140 premium. Have you spoken to the employer about a possible H-1B? What country are you from? Maybe you can do an H-1B1 and you don't have to worry about the lottery. Guess what? You do research. Maybe there's something there with the university. Is a J on the radar? That's common for researchers and professionals, professors as well. So you need to have that conversation now, this month, so you can see what your options are, which ones are viable, and kind of start creating a web, and you're attacking each one and see which one lands first. Because H-1B, if you don't get the lottery in March, you're out on that.
Correct.
Do you qualify for an O? Do you have a sponsor? Should you just do an EB1? Yeah, it's possible, but start now. We're getting a lot of questions regarding the timing, and I think people need to appreciate that.
Just start far sooner.
It's never too soon to at least have the consultation to know and properly manage your expectation of what to apply and how to get it.
Yep. All right, let's go with Felipe. Felipe Tattoo. What to do for Visa O1 to be more uncomplicated? I don't find the O1 complicated. O1 is, maybe it's just because we've developed a really nice formula here in the office, but the O1, especially for tattoo artists, is a beautiful one. It's so beautiful. I want you to enter all the tattoo competitions and conventions, every single one. I want you to try and compete in the competitions. They always have a best black and white of the day, best surrealist of the day, best color of the day. I want you to try and participate in those competitions because awards for tattoo artists, there's far many more opportunities because there are far many more competitions. And so awards could really be useful for my O1 case. Okay. When you're also participating in those, I also want you just thinking into future EB1 green card. I want you to try and participate as a judge of some of those competitions eventually, not now, but think long-term future. I want you to try and talk to with a publicist or tattoo magazines directly to try and get an interview and try and get press with you. Press, which basically features photos of your work and sort of, interviews you as to like, what's your favorite style? What kind of style are you exploring now? Make sure you're on social media. Make sure you're creating a social media persona. Maybe you have a lot of followers. Feature all of your artwork. Tattoo artists on social media is becoming very, very important. And obviously, when you're working with a studio in particular, we want to try and make an argument that your role with the studio is very important. So make sure you're on the website of the studio and all these things. But yeah, I love the O1 for a tattoo artist. It is one of the ones that we enjoy the most because there's just so much variety in it. And there's actually so much opportunity for you to get some sort of press, social media, and award coverage.
Yeah. You've done so many tattoo artists.
We have, and as an artist, as an office.
There's so many skilled people in that industry.
Yeah.
And by the way, there's, probably millions of people who are tattoo artists. So it's not everyone qualifies. But there's a way. There's a way. And again, we started off the program. You have to say yes. Stop saying no.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple.
Mm-hmm.
Mario Gabera 71, I guess maybe from Instagram, writes and asks, is it risky to apply for citizenship if I had a DUI tax issue years ago? So,
how many years?
Yeah, it's not risky, but let's ask, how many years ago? If you had a DUI, were there any aggravating factors? You'd kind of look into that. Standard DUI. You want to wait 5 years. You want to clear up that good moral character, right? Tax issues, you want to have that handled. I hope you are on some sort of repayment plan where you're rectifying any or paying back anything that was owed. That's going to be okay. Usually you want to have that paid off, but if you're already in a payment plan, should be fine. It depends the details. So Mario, look into it, get the paperwork, get everything from the IRS that you have regarding that, start and end. And then with the DUI, you want to get the police report and you want to get the final court disposition. Anytime you have an arrest where maybe it's a misdemeanor, it could be something a little bit more serious, a felony. Even if it was you were improperly arrested and then later released, you always need the police report and the final court disposition. The police report goes into details of what happened, right? And sometimes in these cases, they're going to look into that fact pattern to see if it affects moral turpitude. And then on top of that, you want the final court disposition because you're going to get clarity. What was the result? Were you not guilty? Was it a mistake? Did you claim, you just said, hey, I'm guilty, and you accepted it, the penalty. All that will affect when you can apply. But usually 5 years minimum to then proceed. Mario, so hopefully when you say years ago, we're talking about many, many years ago.
And do not get a second DUI.
Oh, no. Second DUI, you're basically toast, friend.
Estás toast,
You'll
brother.
be a legal permanent resident.
Do not get a second DUI.
Yeah. Hey, man, people make
yell
mistakes.
at the people because sometimes people need to be yelled at. Do not get a second DUI.
People make mistakes. Just don't make that mistake twice.
That will really ruin your future.
Absolutely.
100% that will ruin your future. Okay. Morena. By resume, I meant the actual paper resume curriculum naming my jobs. I just don't know if it's like a normal one you sent a job application or I write an elaborated one. Morena, I don't include CVs with my EB ones. So you could include a listing of all your jobs and you could just do it it doesn't have to be like the ones you send to your jobs. No, it could be just like a listing of everything I have ever participated in. And that gives an officer a good idea of what you have done in the past, but it's not an obligation to submit a CV with your EB1 application.
Yeah. Hey, I know you're in the know. So maybe you got something on this. But Jose Alvarez asks, is it true that the pause for 39 countries, the ban may be lifted? Basically, we get back to the ban, return to the ban. There's an inkling out there maybe deep, Reddit thread somewhere.
Deep Reddit.
But
I love that.
I haven't heard anything regarding that.
I haven't. And I was actually just looking up Dorcas to see if
Mhm.
there was anything I was seeing.
Anything
so basically,
new?
nothing new. The appeal was filed June 11th. There's nothing that's really indicating otherwise. The appeal remains pending. So basically, what they're saying is as follows. Okay. So there was a 39 country pause on adjudication. There was a pause in adjudication by USCIS for 39 countries.
Yes.
Then there was a court decision, which is the Dorcas decision, where basically the district court said, hey, you can't just, ban people out, blanket ban people. You have to go one by one. You can't do this. We were very surprised. We're going to be very honest here that USCIS didn't just straight appeal and was like, whatever, we're appealing this decision and we're not abiding by it. What they said was, okay, we hear you. We'll temporarily lift the pause and start adjudicating these cases, but we're still going to appeal.
Exactly.
They filed the appeal on June 11th. I was just verifying the date. And there's no news on the appeal, but basically, Jose, what you're going towards is if they win the appeal, if USCIS wins the appeal, then obviously they can implement the 39 country ban once more, right? Or at any point in time, they can be like, you know what? We have an appeal pending, so we're going to go ahead and stop the adjudication until the appeals decision. So that could change at any moment. You are correct in that sense.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully they don't do it. There's just so much going on. This is a breather. This is alleviating several people that were on pause for 6-7 months,
and it's clearing out a backlog. Also,
yeah.
I said this on the program. I think they were going to face tremendous lawsuits because it was going to be like, how can you collect money on cases that you really aren't adjudicating? Sure. And USCIS, there's no way they're going to stop accepting money. No. So I think that's why they are going to continue unless they win the appeal.
Especially with all the premium processing checks you're sending out.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. Yeah, we'll see, Jose. Just keep following the news. Follow us. Click, like, subscribe. Is that the order? Click, like, subscribe.
I don't know.
Click, like, subscribe. I heard it once.
I don't know.
We're going to go here with Salvatore. Always watching. We love you, Salvatore. Question. A consultant, not a lawyer, prepared my friend's case with recommendation letters that all sound the same. Do officers notice that? What evidence is losing value because everyone abuses it? This is what we call you hit the nail on the head. That's
you
horrible.
Guys should take me off screen because my face says it all.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Recommendations letters sound all the same. Look, can there be a template that you use and the person should fill in the recommender? Absolutely. But if everyone's saying what a wonderful, great person you are the father of, their children are named after you. And it was such a pleasure working with you back 5 years ago on that project, which included, a conglomerate. Guess what? What detail is that offering? Each letter should come from a person who can genuinely write why you're extraordinary, why you're exceptional. What your role was, what your responsibilities were. If you're in marketing, what did that company do or benefit from the marketing? If you work in finance, what is that return? We need details. I'd rather get 5 amazing letters than 20 letters that all say the same. Guess what? I'm not going to include them. It's horrific. You never do that. I hope your friend has very, 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 very much luck in this process because I don't see the officer not noticing that. How does that affect the other evidence? I mean, it calls into question the veracity of it all. It truly can, and then they're going to look at everything with the magnifying glass. Stephanie has one on her desk. Whenever she sees something strange, I see her with the magnifying glass. I don't know. It's either that or she's burning ants. What are you doing there?
I would never hurt an animal.
She loves her plants. I know she'd do anything to protect her plants.
I would, actually, but you're
right. Take her off screen.
I've killed spider mites. Let's see. Nicolas. Hi, is the best lawyers. Thank you, Nicolas. Did you see the potential bond of $100,000 up to $250,000 regarding public charge starting today in pilot program in Dominican Republic? So basically, let's go over it. If you guys will remember, USCIS implemented a 75-country pause on immigrant visa issuance for countries that have high likelihood of being a public charge. So individuals from those countries statistically have more, they historically have been more likely to use government benefits, government resources, and become a public drain on the society. So they implemented this 75-country ban, and we were always saying they'll take it off once they come up with a better way of determining whether or not the person's likely to be a public charge, which is basically like whether or not you're likely to use things like food stamps, right? That's the easy example. So what the State Department did was they said, hey, listen, we came up with the rule. The consular officer, if the consular officer thinks that you can become a drain on public society in the United States, the State Department can force you to pay a $100,000 or $250,000 bond before they give you the immigrant visa, right? Which is going to lead to your green card. Now, this is really mostly only going to be in family-based cases. This is usually never going to be in it. Why are you chuckling?
Because it's
Espérate, déjame finish.
how you gonna be a public charge? If you could pay $100,000, how are you even considered a public charge?
Yeah.
You know, like just to begin with, you know,
Yeah.
like that's incredible.
That's the State Department.
Sorry.
So anyway, so you see what you did. You see what you did.
What did I do?
What was I saying?
You're talking about the public charge, and now the government is going to implement it if they find you to be a public charge. It's mostly family-based cases.
Mostly family-based. So we're not really expecting it for employment-based cases. So EB1, EB2, EB3, EB4, EB5, because those have already made a showing that you're going to earn a living in the United States. The majority of those petitions, you had to show that you plan to work in the United States. So those will likely not be subject to this bond. This bond will likely be for family-based cases. So you were petitioned by a family member in the United States, typically. And in order to show that you won't be a public charge, you have to post this bond, which is going to be set by the consular officer. You cannot pre-do it. This is going to be done at the consular appointment, okay? Now, if basically they'll give you a list and they'll say, if you take any of these benefits while you were in the United States, I think it was in your first 5 years as a green card holder. I don't think it's forever, right? I think it's in the first 5 years as a green card holder, but don't quote me on that. I'm pretty confident I read that somewhere. Then they consider it that you forfeited your bond, you basically didn't abide, and they can keep your full $100,000 or $250,000. So you want to be sure that you're not you're not utilizing any of the government benefits in the first 5 years. Was it first 5 years? A lawful permanent resident can theoretically be deported on public charge ground only within the first 5 years in the U.S., only if they become primarily dependent on the government due to causes that existed before they enter the country. Yeah, I wonder if the new State Department rules also the 5 years. So that's existing in INA, right? But I don't know if the State Department will add something to that.
Yeah, I mean it's all moving so fast.
And permanently, it should be it should be the existing INA, so it should be within the first 5 years.
I would think so. Yeah,
But it's going to be something that's said at the consular appointment. So like, I don't want people, yes, listen, do Alexis, Gil, and I wholly and wholeheartedly disagree with the decisions of the State Department in this regard? Yes, like this is kind of silly. To Alexis's point, you're definitely not going to be a public charge if you're able to post a $100,000 bond, right? But because it's just absurd. But on the other hand, do I really think that it's going to be such a huge limiting factor? I just don't think it's going to be applied in many cases.
I think it just goes to show this is why you show that you're not a public charge.
Right.
You prepare,
Mhm.
you prepare through documentation.
Mhm.
Guess what? I'm not a public charge. I haven't used anything. On the flip side, this is what I do have, right? I think what the process is becoming is intrusive, more so than it already was. And I get it. You're coming to a country. They want to know, like, are you truly going to be a public charge? Show me what you got. You're a professional. You have a degree. You have work experience. You have money in the bank. You have people willing to sign affidavits on your behalf and support you should it need be. That's what the government wants. So by showing a little, I think it takes away the possibility of being subject to this $100,000 or $250,000 bond. But it's true. The pilot program is taking off, as I say, or landing in the Dominican Republic.
Well, it's several countries, right?
Right. Well, I know the Dominican Republic's one of them.
Yeah.
In the public,
It
in
is
the pilot
several
program.
countries. Well, it's going to be, I mean, think about it. It's going to be everyone who's on the 75 country ban.
Oh, you know, just thinking about pilot programs. I don't know if we said this in the English program, but to our friends in Mexico, they can pay an expedited fee to get a B1, B2
We
sooner.
talked about that. Yeah.
So,
But yeah, the 75 country ban is going to be all the countries that are going to have this bond, I would think, because that's why they did the whole 75 country ban thing.
but the Dominican Republic, it
was
wasn't
not
one
on
of-
that list
yeah.
regardless.
I think there's the $20,000 bond also, but that might be limited to B1, B2. There's so much going on.
Non-immigrant visa, do adjustment of status. That's going to be your way.
Yeah,
Trust me.
man, $100,000. Maybe you donate to the right person, everything will be fine. Don't do that. I'm kidding. Here we go. Erica, my husband plans to travel to Colombia next month using his advanced parole. Is there any risk in traveling? Recommendations. Thank you. So,
Pending OAS.
guess what? You know, if you have a pending adjustment of status, you leave the United States, you're supposed to be allowed back in with the advanced parole, but you don't have a status now. What's that officer going to think? What's going to go on?
Chico, I disagree with you. I don't think there's going to be any issue with AP. Zero.
There shouldn't be an issue. Historically, there is no issue.
Right.
I'm concerned that if domestically they're detaining people, what?
No.
Why is
no,
it not
because
a
it's an
reason?
international flight with an AP with a previously issued document.
I know. I just think that right now, we haven't had any issues, by the way.
No.
So my concern is more of, if it's an unnecessary flight, trip, don't do it. If it's something important, obviously do it and do it with confidence. But you have USCIS granting you the permission to leave and come back.
I think AP International is much safer than domestic.
And domestic. Yeah, because you don't have a document other than the receipt notice here.
Correct.
By the way, if you are traveling domestic, what should you always carry? By law, valid I-94, your receipt notices. You know, if you have a work permit, travel permit, take those things. So by traveling, I would recommend not only does your husband take the advanced parole, take the I-45 receipt notice, take any other documentation, the underlying basis, if it's already approved, take that I-140, right, whether it's yours or his, just so he has all the documentation. But the flight should be right. Should be okay.
God, you are being extra negative, conservative today.
Negative.
I don't think AP International is going to be an issue.
No,
really.
I haven't seen it be an issue yet. I really haven't. But I'm just concerned. I'm concerned that, as you said, the weekend rolls up and on Thursday they're like, guess what? What are we guys doing
always
today?
on a Friday. They always ruin our weekend.
Yeah, it really has been always on a Friday.
You know what? Thank God other people are noticing. Why is Dr. Blanco so serious? I don't understand. I really don't. I don't know what's happening with him today.
Today's a serious day.
He's very just dramatic today. He's extra dramatic.
This is a serious show.
No, I mean, it is a serious
consequences.
topic, serious topics, and that's what we're discussing. But like, have a good time. And like, come on, my dude. Let's see. Vega. Hello, my dear Lord. I didn't know how to pronounce that. I'm getting my note 01 with Andrea. Again, she and Victoria are great. They are. Quick question. How many times is taking that process to get an answer? Regular processing, 11 months. Premium processing, 15 days.
Yeah. Andrea, I should say, and Victoria are wonderful people. Thank you. I like this. HD. I'm a university professor in Colombia. My daughters are in college. One's in med school, one's in engineering. When they apply for a tourist visa, do my job and their studies count as strong ties? They definitely do. So make sure to do that. Guess what? What other ties do they have? You know, are they tied with any sports, any nonprofits, part-time job? Do they live at home? You know, bills in their name? Include that too. Bank accounts, all that are strong ties. Make sure, hey, are they already re-enrolled for the, well, I know in many countries, the school year is January to December rather than August. So have they already re-enrolled? Are they currently enrolled? Take all that. Now, are they going to get a tourist visa?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
When they apply for tourist
Oh, sorry, Colombia. Yes, you're fine. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fine.
You're fine. Carmen Reyes, the premium processing, do they answer on the day we expect, or they take time expecting answer on the 17th on this month? Listen, I've had the answer. Remember, it's 15 business days or 45 business days or 30 business days, whichever, depending on which one you applied for. But I've had the answer on day 1. I've had the answer on day 2. I've had the answer on day 15. So it could be any day. Don't stress that it wasn't day 12, right? You're fine.
I once had it on day 17.
Este chamo está
Once.
tan negativo hoy.
What? No.
Someone take Alexis off this channel. I need the
That's
ability
positive.
to push him off.
It was approved on day 17 and everything
Push
was
this
fine.
man off, dude. Push
was
this man
great.
off.
It was great. Oh, man.
Larry does that follow-up for you. So he's graduating May 2027. Then he has a STEM OBT.
STEM. Yeah, if you haven't used it, and then you should have a 24-month STEM. Which would put you through. But either way, Larry, even if you're going to have that 24-month STEM, I spoke to somebody today, no joke. Spoke to this person about 18 months ago. Spoke to them again 5 months ago. And we've been planning, right? They work in a few years, U.S. bachelors. They've worked in the U.S. masters, graduating next year. And we're planning long-term, considering EB1, EB2 NIW, labor certification, through the employer. And I mean, they're very well versed already in their field. So there are opportunities to apply elsewhere. And maybe there's a labor certification there. So start today. But I love it. We just bought ourselves 24 more months.
Yeah, easily.
Here we go. What's that? Here we go. Whoops.
What are you doing?
We got 24 more months. You wanted a smile? We got a smile from Stephanie. There we go.
All righty. I think that is all our questions. Thank you so much for being with us. On Thursday, the show is at 12 noon. We will again be answering all your questions live and for free. So share this resource with your friends for past information. You can see our YouTube for all the videos of us back when even Alexis had hair.
No,
there will be
there are no videos of me with hair.
Videos.
No videos.
Thank you to everyone and see you next week. I got to control the soundboard at this
What?
point because Alexis is not controlling the soundboard.
It's the first time she ever touched it.
Jesus, that's what she said.
Enjoy your week, guys.